It's Tyler Johnson. I lead the national security efforts for eMERGE Americas. I'm coming at you from Miami here. We're part of the Gold Coast Tech Accelerator program, and I'm excited to interview all of the cohort companies that have gone through our dual use and defense cohort, and welcome. Chip, Justin, great to have you guys here, man. I appreciate you being a part of this. And Thor Dynamics. So you guys are doing some really, really cool stuff. Can you tell me a little bit about the problem that you're focused on and why?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a good question. Great way to start too, because it is a big problem. But I think everyone has seen a lot of videos on YouTube about how this Ukraine-Russia war is going down, and it's primarily a drone war. Which paints a really difficult problem to solve, which is how do you shoot them down? I mean, number one. So what I do is I typically try to get the feel of what that must be like. Like try to imagine being a ground guy. Okay, you show up to a target, you plan this thing to death. You know all the options. You know what corner of the building that the bad guys are. You know what part of the roof you can rope into. You got it all planned out. You're getting to the target and you look over your shoulder and you see a drone swarm and you're like, I'm going to die today. I don't have a plan for this. That's the problem we're solving. And it's got to be an economic problem. You can't be shooting $1 million missiles at $100 drones. It's got to be a cost effective.
So what makes you guys unique then? Talk a little bit about the uniqueness on that problem, because it's real.
Yeah, no, it's very well said. And I think the market differentiator with us is the fact that we started from a first principle standpoint of kinetic effect, as in breaking something, with a non-kinetic effector. Right, so most people are taking 50 caliber, rounds. They're shooting shotgun rounds at things. There's a missile. There's a consequence that's happening with that. So you have both interior, which is in the barrel, and exterior ballistics and time that you're dealing with, and then you have a munition that's flying through the air. As to where we're taking a very surgical approach with a non-kinetic effector to get a kinetic effect, and very few people have that thought process up front. And very few people are approaching it that way. Additionally, a large portion of this is detect, ID, track. These things are small, they're coming fast, so you need to find them from far away and then affect that at distance. So a lot of things have to go right for us to get there, and that's where we make a big difference.
So you're talking like Star Wars type stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what we're talking about here. So, it's here.
Invisible. Think through this. Invisible laser shooting down drones at a kilometer in less than a second. It's the closest thing to Star Wars you're going to see.
And what prevents this from just taking over everything?
Well, so we hope it does, and we're ready to sell as many systems as we can.
Sure.
But no, I mean, I think that it's democratizing drone defense, and it's meeting the drones at scale. So these are rough numbers, but a vast majority of deaths in the Ukrainian-Russian conflict are from Group 1 drones right now. So that's the way things are going. And then think about it. What's the next sort of big terror attack? Without being an alarmist, it's more than likely like the drone is the new sniper rifle. And critical infrastructure and protection in the U.S. is just as important as the battlefield. Because the threat has become ubiquitous, so the defense has to be ubiquitous as well.
So you guys are working across the commercial side, across the government side. Critical infrastructure could be ports, could be airports, could be all sorts of different
Yeah, I mean, think
things.
of like the CDC could have a system to protect all their data. The White House could have one. A stadium, a concert arena, any place where large populations can gather is a great place. A, for an attack, and B, for us to be set up to counter that attack. We've been in conversations with some people about some pretty realistic threats. And I don't want to sound like an alarmist, but they've proposed some possibilities that they're considering that people could do, and they don't have a solution to it. So laser armor kind of comes into play here. I will say one thing that's kind of cool about our system is there's some safety mechanisms to it.
Okay.
Like say, for example, you're to arm the system and hit go, like you command it to fire.
Yep.
The system will do a scan, a quick scan, like we're talking really fast. And if it sees like either a human face or another airplane in the background, it will not shoot that round, that laser, until the background becomes clear. And then there's no other command go you have to hit. It just fires because you've already given it the signal. So that's all part of the software that's integrated into the system, which is safety's huge, man. I mean, you can't just be shooting lasers willy nilly. You know, what I
Right.
mean, we got to be.
Everything will drop out.
Everything will drop out.
Holy, yeah.
And
We don't want that.
It's like you being accountable for every bullet. You know, in the military, you're accountable for every round you fire. In law enforcement, security, all of it, every round matters. So same with lasers.
Yeah.
Yeah, to kind of address your question, I honestly, what the feedback we're getting, I think critical infrastructure will be our first customers.
Okay.
I think they'll be the earliest to adopt.
They move a little bit faster.
They do, and it's a huge priority, and because of the threat and the nature, the urgent sort of nature of the threat and understanding, they'll be ready to move, and they'll be ready to take systems that our system, and they maybe don't care about the portability, but they just need the effect.
Sure. Yeah. So we're in Florida. Florida's a cool place. A lot of stuff to do here in Florida. A lot of great people, a lot of money, a lot of data, all sorts of stuff. What's your point of view on Florida and why this is so special?
Yeah, so we have an office in Orlando in Research Park right now, and we our plan currently is to keep it in Florida. It's really interesting. Not only this event, but Florida. No other state's really doing it like you guys, where you get this symbiosis of government and business owners and this community, and it's welcoming, not just from a social standpoint, but an economic, a mentorship standpoint, an investment standpoint. So it's just, to me, it's fused together really well.
And then, I mean, which is huge, because that's a great first step. But even more than that, it's like there's so little red tape in Florida. You know, the policies here are conducive for business to grow. The laws aren't ridiculous. There's not a lot of bureaucracy to get things done. We've tried to work in other states, getting lasers into. I don't want to bash another state, but it can be challenging,
Sure.
And so Florida kind of opens itself up to being an easy state to work with.
Awesome. Well, we're grateful for Thor and the work that you guys are doing. Thanks for your service. Thanks for everything that you do, and we appreciate you being here. And we look forward to future partnership. Thanks again for listening to Mission Ready. I'm Tyler Johnson, and I hope that you'll join us for our next episode. If you're like us and want to learn more about innovators building dual-use tech to defend our national security, subscribe and join our community here. And if you're a startup that wants to be featured on an upcoming episode, I want to hear from you too. Just click the link below. Until next time.